Welcome back to SmartDepo Essentials. I'm Ely Cohn, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through the key ways that SmartDepo summaries differ from other summaries. It is true that not all summaries are created equal. It comes down to quality, accuracy, and precision. So whenever we talk about SmartDepo, I like to focus on this document that you see right here. This is what's called a motion for summary judgment. And what happens is we allege that something important was said in this deposition, and the supporting evidence that we provide to a court or to a judge is what you see highlighted down below in yellow. So for example, we are saying some deponent said this important piece of information. The supporting evidence is it came from the Fackery deposition, page 23, line 23 to page 24, line 23. Why do we bring this up? Well, we bring this up because our clients use SmartDepo in a way where they can just copy and paste the citations directly from our page line summary and put them right into court documents like the motion for summary judgment I showed you just a moment ago. So when we built SmartDepo, we thought of 4 key things that were really important that would enable us to have a really high quality summary every single time. The first is we decided we wanted to make our citations very precise. What does that mean? That means we're not going to be citing 3 to 4 pages at a time or even a few paragraphs at a time, but oftentimes we're citing 1 to 2 lines of dialogue. Secondly, we wanted to figure out a way to be able to guarantee the accuracy of the citation. So if we say that this information came from page 25, line 10 to page 26, line 13, we can guarantee that that citation is associated with the questions and the answers in that page range. Third, we determined that we wanted to summarize the entirety of the transcript, not leaving out any questions and answers. That's super important because it reduces any chance of what we call errors of omission. We don't know what's important to our clients' cases, and therefore we want to summarize everything so that we'll never hear, hey, you left this out from the summary. This was important to our case. We're just going to summarize everything and therefore reduce any chance that we leave something important out in our summaries. And then finally, we recognize that technology does some things really well, but it also has some shortcomings. And so we employ a human in the loop to look at every single transcript and look for what are called predictable errors. These are things that we know that could pop up that we might need to change, and it needs a human eye on it in order to be able to guarantee the accuracy and the quality before we provide our summaries back to the clients. And what we provide are 4 products with every single transcript. They come in 2 Microsoft Word documents. The first is a narrative summary, a short overview of what was discussed in the deposition without any citations. We then generate a list of what we call key admissions, potential important recommendations that you might want to review first before you get into the meat of the summary. We then have the flagship product, which is the page line summary. It's the entire summary in order, beginning to end. And then finally, in the second document, we produce what's called a deposition memo, a thematic summary where it takes the testimony and breaks it apart theme by theme. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about citation precision, accuracy, and comprehensiveness. At the top of the screen here, you'll see an example of a page line summary with what we would call an overly broad citation. This is not a summary that we produced, but it's an example of maybe an alternative approach that we wouldn't recommend. So what you see here is you see a citation range, you see a citation topic, and you see a narrative summary of what was discussed in that citation range. This citation range spans from page 23 to page 26, about 3 pages of testimony. That's a little bit long when you think about using the citations in the motion for summary judgment example that I showed you earlier. And because we have such a long citation range, we have a pretty generic topic, collision description and aftermath, and we have a block of text, and it's very generic sounding as well because we are summarizing such a large proportion of the testimony in one topic. In the below example, you'll see the SmartDepo summary for the exact same range of testimony from the same transcript. And instead of one generic topic, collision description and aftermath, we have 7 topics with a greater level of granularity and precision. The door hitting the hip, the passenger side impact, front damage to the car, the vehicle spinning out. This is the level of specificity and precision that's required by the courts and judges when you are citing evidence in motion for summary judgments, mediation briefs, and other court documents. Additionally, you can see each citation range spans just a few lines of dialogue. We have a very short little summary, and then we have a hyperlink citation so you can verify the accuracy of what was discussed. So now let's take a look at a real SmartDepo summary, and I can showcase to you the precision, accuracy, and comprehensiveness in the actual document right here. So this is the SmartDepo page line summary. As mentioned, it has the deposition abstract here at the top. We then have our list of key admissions, and then we get to the table of contents. The table of contents breaks apart the entire summary chapter by chapter. Each chapter has a range of testimony associated with it, and what you can see is where one chapter ends, for instance, on page 23, line 5, the next chapter will always begin on the very next line of dialogue. And that pattern will persist throughout the page line summary, and it's our way of showing that we do not leave out any question or answer in our page line summary, and therefore no errors of omission. If I click on any particular chapter, it will take me to that section of the document, and I can see these very precise little topics. So court order citing, uncertainty and duty in the deposition decision, the initial beliefs in InfoWars. These are very precise little topics, and each topic is associated with 1 to 2 lines of dialogue. That is the level of specificity and granularity that we need in a really high quality page line summary. If I wanted to verify with the original transcript, we can guarantee the accuracy of these citations. And I see here, this is where Robert Jacobson initially believed in the InfoWars mission. I click on the citation and it takes me right to the question and answer associated with that section. I see that looks good. I click summary and it takes me right back above. And that's what makes SmartDepo the best deposition summary on the market. We'll be publishing new videos often. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a thing. I'll see you next time.